You're having your favorite coffee early in the morning and going through your messages when all of a sudden you get a call. It's the hard words of someone or something that knocks you out. Being mean, and all of a sudden your day doesn't look as good when you have to deal with bad people. Dealing with people is a problem we all face, but how we handle it can make a huge difference. The dynamics. Have you ever noticed how one bad word can sometimes damage a stay in your mind longer than a praise? It's like a stain on your favorite shirt that won't come out of the washer. This is where your power lives. Being able to see that spot and choose not to let it ruin your shirt or day. This is about realizing that these hard times say less about you, and Marcus's thoughts help him learn more about the other person's inner struggles and fears. Aurelius said something wise that has stood the test of time. If someone blames you, hates you, or says similar things about you, go to their hearts. Go inside and find out what kind of people they are. Then you'll know there's no reason to be upset. Worry that they might have a certain opinion about you. This perspective asks us to look beyond the surface interactions and try to figure out why other people do the things they do. Actions. This time of facing evil also gives us a wonderful chance to think about yourself, so I dare you to look inside yourself and peel back the layers of the truths about yourself have been hidden by social norms and expectations. By other people's criticism, are you letting their bad mood define your day or your worth? Let's start this journey of finding ourselves together, exploring ways to not only deal with harmful people, but also to improve. It's likely that you've met someone in your life who fits our sense of self. Being self-aware. We often call these people who seem to set off all the wrong alarms. They are poisonous because they spread bad vibes like a cloud of smoke, making it hard to, you can see well, but what if I told you there was a way to get rid of the smoke and get around it? If you're feeling lost, it all starts with being aware of yourself. If you're allergic to smoke, you won't do it. Knowing how to deal with dangerous people can help you stay healthy. When I think about mental distance, it makes me think of a lesson that an old fencing master taught me. He taught his kids that the real skill in fencing wasn't just being able to attack. When a toxic person breaks out, you know exactly when to avoid them. When you do a great sidestep, you don't take the hit because you know your limits and are willing to stand firm on them so no one can cross them. This doesn't need anger or a counterattack, just a calm, unwavering sense of who you are now. It's not as hard as you might think to make this learning a part of your daily life. Think of it like tying your shoes. At first, you have to pay attention to it, but over time, it becomes. As soon as you feel like dealing with negative, take a step back and ask. Ask yourself, why does this bother me? What can I learn from this? Aren't about making excuses for other people. They're about strengthening your own courage. Stop for a moment to think about how this path will not be free of problems with self-awareness and getting through the smoke of other people's negativity. There won't always be a happy ending. Some days it will be easier to just move on. Give back what was thrown at you, but that's a short-lived victory that doesn't feel full, because each time you reply instead of react, it shows what kind of person you are. Don't do it because it's easy. Do it because it's the right thing to do. The right one for you. This is about making yourself stronger, not from a place of pride, not from a place of power and calm. It's not about avoiding the bad things that happen, but recognizing them without letting them control what you do. So accept them. Challenges make you stronger and more robust, and in the long run, you can't deny that they help you grow. If you look up at the sky, do you see something that makes you feel stronger? How to forgive and remember. Think of these stars and how bright they are, even though there is darkness all around them. As people who make your life better by knowing and caring about you, on the other hand, On the other hand, you might come across black holes, which are harmful people who, they will pull you into their darkness and drain your joy and energy. Now comes is there a way to get through this cosmic dance of partnerships without getting sucked into these black holes? Picture yourself as a rocket that is running on fuel, not with hydrogen, but with guts and smarts. This courage is your forgiveness. Power cell that frees people from their mistakes and makes you more powerful than any poisonous effect. It frees you from the weight of resentment, that holds you down. To painful memories and grudges, but every rocket needs a way to find its way. This is your memory, the place where life's lessons are stored, the voice that whispers in when a known black hole is in your ear, telling you to take a different route flight path. The truth is that harmful experiences we've had in the past aren't chains. Every lesson, they are like points on a star map that point us in the direction of better orbits. Dealing with a toxic person taught us that every strong feeling we feel is a sign that we need to remember what to avoid and help shape how we connect with each other. Memory and forgiveness are the map that guides us through the complicated constellation of relationships. With these ideas in mind, I want you to think about your trip. The dance of relationships in the sky. Who do you see the brilliance of a star through, and from whom? Should you change your mind like a black hole? Use your forgiveness as fuel for that moves you forward, and use your knowledge to help you find your way so you don't have to do the same pattern in the way the relationships dance in this complicated ballet. Let's try to be the spaceship that finds its way through the chaos of the universe with polished grace, because of the power of forgiveness and the knowledge of memory. 3. Stability in emotions. Stability. Getting through life when you're around toxic people can feel like wandering. When there's a thick fog, it's hard to see where you're going, and every step feels like it's going fast. Not sure, but what if I told you there's a way to get rid of the fog that makes it all? Stoicism builds mental strength and stability, which helps you think clearly about that one person who never seems to be upset, no matter how crazy things get. It's not about being a rock that stands strong in the face of a storm. Whether you're hot or cold, it's about realizing that the only thing that really Stoicism teaches us, that how we react to the outside world is something we can change. We have power in how we respond, not in how we try to control the unpredictable. So when we have to deal with toxic people, we bring out our inner Stoic. We stop and don't take part in the scene. It's like being in the eye of the outside. It's crazy because of the hurricane, but this place is calm. It gives us a chance to breathe, think, and then move from a calm, sensible place. About moving our attention from what's going on around us to how it will affect our inner peace and how we can change that. Do we do this by being mindful? That question comes up a lot these days. But here's the cool thing. Awareness helps us step back and see to stay out of the chaos without getting sucked in. You can't ignore the bad vibes. Seeing it for what it is without letting it control our happiness is realizing that these times will pass, just like clouds in the sky. So the next time when you're dealing with bad things, remember that you're the one who built your peace. Make it strong. How to set limits. Set limits. Imagine going into a world where everyone you meet is like a stroke of paint on the canvas of your day. Some strokes are bright and cheery, adding to the beauty of your life, and then there are those strokes, dark, heavy, and unstable people in your life who are toxic. These exchanges don't just leave a mark. They change your whole day, your mood, and even how you see yourself. Think about the old Stoics. They were experts at their own minds, not by avoiding problems, but by building up the walls inside. They knew that not every bad thought, opinion, or energy deserved their attention. What if I told you that the same method could be used to deal with poisonous people? Stoicism isn't about putting up a wall that can't be broken down. It's about picking which doors to let people in, and when being selectively open doesn't make you less of a person, it makes you the guardian of your own peace. Think of your energy as every move you take uses up a limited, valuable resource, like water in a desert. Gives away a drug in that water. Who would you rather give it to? Someone who lets you put seeds in the desert and watch it grow, or it fade away in the scorching sun? Setting limits is about investing. Use your energy wisely, not with pride or disdain, but with the cool determination of a being silent means that a person knows how much his time is worth. Letting you know this is where I draw the line, because your peace is not up for negotiation. So let's keep this in mind and see every day as a chance to paint your masterpiece and put your energy where it will grow. Remember that loving yourself enough to set limits is not an act of anger. It's an act of self-respect and smarts. Start today, not by leaving people out and drawing lines between your yard and the wild, and see how the course of your life changes. If this movie speaks to you, please let us know in the comments. Spread the word by clicking like, and don't forget to click subscribe for more. 5 Energy Intelligence Insights. Do you ever share a place with someone? Knowing about energy, whose energy makes you feel like a storm, is flipping your bright day upside down. The rough waters of dealing with dangerous people can test even the calmest minds. But let's turn the look inside and look into the idea of energy intelligence as our compass. Think of your energy as a wall that keeps people out, like an old city wall. That keeps your peace and keeps out unwanted evil. Now think about right now, the freedom to choose, just like when you choose what fuel to put in your car, will determine how well it runs and how long it lasts. Power to choose how to respond and interact with people who drain your energy. You can use superfuel to get more done by responding with patience and understanding, or by choosing not to connect at all. For your mental health and to keep you on track, this isn't about to stay out of strife. You need to be smart and make decisions that are in line with your using this knowledge for peace is more than just self-control. It's about making a space around you that is so stable that not even the strongest storm can move it. Like a tree with deep roots in the ground, shake your foundation. You are solid, not because you can bend and sway with the wind without being affected by it, so it doesn't blow around you. Toxic energy has no choice but to be broken by strength and movement. But before you go on with your day, I want you to think about how you've been, keeping your energy up when things go wrong. Think about those times when someone else's negativity got to be too much for you. What did you do? Were you able to shine even brighter and guide both of them through their storm? Getting you back to calm down isn't the point of this trip. It's about realizing that you have a lot of strength and knowledge inside you. Whenever you feel like giving up, take a deep breath and tell yourself of how are you going to use the power you have going forward. The smarts to not only keep the peace, but also show others the way. Remember, the real test, being strong inside, isn't how you stay out of trouble. It's how you dance in it. Rain 6. Set goals. You know you can do something when you set your mind to it. Pay attention to your goals. Really want, like learning a new skill, meeting a fitness goal, or even you seem to be making progress on your personal projects, so you must be on the right track. But then, out of the blue, you run into people or events that make you feel down. Meeting a spirit can knock you off like a gust of wind. It's very disappointing to try to steer a paper rocket in a different direction. In the case of Jordan was determined to start a small online business. Doubts from family and friends came in waves, with some not believing in it at all. Many of us have been in situations where loud people are subtly suggesting safer routes, familiar with, instead of getting into pointless arguments or trying to prove his ambitions. Jordan worked hard to improve his skills, learn more and understand more. How did Jordan build his business one step at a time? What can we learn from his story? Having a strong belief in your goal and not letting bad things get in the way of it, path that leads to how we deal with bad people, which is a skill that needs to be learned. The Stoics knew they were onto something important when they focused on what's inside. We can control, and letting other people change isn't one of those things. We have full control over how we respond to them. It's just a matter of keeping a mental wall that keeps negative out and makes it hard to make decisions or spirits. Think of a jacket in heavy rain. It doesn't stop the rain, but it does keep you dry. That's the toughness we want. So the next time you are going through doubts or bad feelings about your plans or aspirations, think of Jordan. Don't waste your time trying to persuade people who don't agree, but into making your own way stronger. Smile, nod, and keep going with your. When you work hard, you have goals to reach, and negative thoughts have no place in your life. You can rent space in your mind without paying rent. Be calm and focus on your as you go along with the process, and let the descent fade into the background. Background. This is your trip, and you are the only one who can lead you there. Route 7. Looking for help. Every once in a while we run into looking for help into someone who seems to test our mental strength in every way. That person who makes you feel like a storm cloud on a sunny day. It feels like you're stuck in quicksand. The more you try to stay calm, the deeper you sink. This is the complicated state we often find ourselves in when we're frustrated or angry. When we deal with bad people, it tests our patience, but more, we should be proud of our toughness. But let's look more closely at how reaching out, asking for help in these cases doesn't show weakness. It shows a lot of wisdom. Like how one lamp can light up a dark room, talking about your problems with someone who gets it can make you feel better. Paths you hadn't seen before. These are the people who make us stronger, not by fighting our fights for us, but by making us aware of how strong our own minds are. Image having a wise elder by your side, giving you advice based on a lot of experience. That kind of support is very helpful and can help us handle the negativity with poise to become more calm. Strength within us, and we need to know when outside views can help us. It's about realizing that we can't change what other people do, but we can change how we respond to it. They teach us how to step back and see things clearly through the art of Stoicism. From a higher point of view, it's like looking out on a map to see other options. Rots we might have missed while we were focused on getting help, we let them happen, giving ourselves time to think, breathe, and carefully choose how to respond, making sure they fit with our values and peace of mind. Now, take a moment to think about the times you've dealt with difficult people. How did you handle them? Did you try to go it alone, depending only on your own strength, or have you asked for help? That helpful point of view that could make all the difference. Remember, the real mark of a Stoic isn't in being quiet or suffering alone, but in knowing when and how to get help from the wise people around us to make the road easier and clearer. Controlling the bad things about oneself. 8. Take charge of your bad self-talk. Remember the first time you crossed. We've all been around people whose energy felt like a cloud in a parade. Have all felt the weight of someone else's bad mood pulling us down. It's funny how the way we talk to ourselves can either protect us or hurt us when we're around dangerous people. Heal. Picture your mind as a garden, and each thought about yourself as it helps us stand tall when we plant seeds of power and resilience. Fears and questions make the weeds even worse, and they start to choke out all the, "That's good," but that's only part of the story. Sometimes you can't just walk away. Stoicism, an old way of thinking, says that it's not about what things do happen to us, but how we handle them is what Stoicism teaches us. Our responses are what make us strong. So when we're going through the turbulence of someone else's bad impact, pay close attention to the things you say to yourself. Instead of asking, "Why do I have to deal with this?" you might want to think, "How can I gain strength from this experience?" It may help build resilience, understanding, or having the guts to stick to your limits and change your point of view isn't just words. Taking back your power is another tool you can use. That it's a small but strong thing called detachment. It's not cold or heartless, just choosing where to put your energy carefully. Picture someone's negative comments as arrows. Now, if your sense of self-worth is a shield, that those arrows can't get through. Just because someone touches you doesn't mean it won't hurt sometimes. That shot can only hurt you if you let it. So take a moment to, how often do you let negative things going on around you affect the way you talk to yourself? Taking control of this doesn't mean putting up a wall around your heart. It means knowing how much you're worth. Your response gives you power, and sometimes all it takes is choosing not to give in. Your peace-away stoicism isn't about living a life without feelings, but remember that the only person who can help you choose which fights are worth your life. What you really have power over in this life is your 9-step plan for success. Approach focused on solutions approach. Do you ever think about how to deal with those bad people? Inevitably run into each other. It's like getting lost in thick fog where every step is unsure and the air is thick. The important thing is to take a solution-focused way of thinking that is strongly rooted in the principles of. This way of thinking sets the stage for us to change how we connect with each other. Instead of seeing problems as chances to improve yourself and your emotional intelligence, as you might guess, sources of frustration that flip the plot on toxic encounters need imagination. It's like chess. You have to think of a lot of different moves forward, guessing how people will respond without getting emotionally involved. This means you should listen more than you talk and be calm when you answer. Many people respect strategic creativity, but only a few know how to use it well. Do not get caught up in the chaos. Instead, keep your peace. Being able to stick to your values in tough times is your best friend. As you deal with the difficulty of dealing with difficult people, pretend you work for a tree service. You are strong in your roots, but bendy in the wind. You sway but don't break when faced with. When you play the gales of toxic, this resolve makes your character stronger and gives you the tools to weather any storm. I want you to think about how you behave. When dealing with pessimism or manipulation, keep in mind that toxic people may be out of your control, but you can control how you react to them. By adopting a calm, problem-solving attitude, you're not only avoiding the dangers of negativity, you're building a life of peace, strength, and remember that in the big picture, it's not the problems we face that matter, but how we get past them is what makes US 10. Don't get into pointless fights. Staying out of pointless fights and picking your battles carefully is a piece of its old wisdom that's more important than ever in this day and age. Whenever you deal with toxic people, every contact can feel like a minefield. It's like going through a dark maze. You never know when you'll hit a wall. The important thing is not to charge it. You have to feel your way around each wall and choose which route to take. Disagreements that don't lead anywhere are just wastes of time and energy that can't be solved, or prize at the end. Being aware of this can help you avoid many problems. Learn something new today. Sometimes the best thing you can do is not to. If you don't say anything, the quiet can be louder than any word you use. When toxic people say bad things about you, they're usually looking for a response of some kind. Be clear that by not participating, you're putting them off. You don't have to ignore the problem. You just have to choose not to let it get the best of you. Keep your energy in check. Fight important wars with it. Be careful. Of the trap. Trying to change someone's bad behavior by fighting or trying to reason with them is like trying to change. Putting gasoline on a fire won't put it out. It will only make it worse. Ask them questions that will help them see things from a different angle. It's about changing the tone from argument to talk. This method won't work. It's okay if they lose sometimes. The goal isn't to win every fight with them. To keep your peace and honor on the battlefield by showing kindness is your shield, and patience is your sword. As you try to figure out where the other to someone doesn't mean you agree with them or excuse what they did. It just means you're strong enough to stand up to them, to see past the surface and remember that everyone is fighting. They are fighting their own fights, some of which you don't know about. By being patient, you can help them. It's not weak to take time to think about what to say instead of just reacting. Being around difficult people makes you smart. I want you to take a moment to think about your experiences with them. Do you see any patterns? Have you been fighting fights that aren't worth your time? Remember to be stoic. Isn't about not having any feelings. It's about not letting them control you. You have to pick which battles to fight because you know that not all of them are worth fighting. It's yours to fight. So the next time you might get into a fight, take a step back. Take a deep breath back and ask yourself, is this really worth my peace? 11. Discovery of the detection of fake friendliness, false friendliness. Isn't it amazing how quickly a simple conversation can turn into a full-blown fight? Is like a small spark that grows into a wildfire that destroys everything. But here's the thing, not every spark has to become a fire, especially when working with toxic people who don't understand the idea of false friendliness can save you. It's just a matter of knowing when to use it. If someone says they're on your side while quietly stacking wood to feed the fire, their body language doesn't lie. Smile that doesn't light up, their eyes or arms crossed over their chest are subtle signs that someone isn't being honest, that they have secret goals and aren't really caring about you. Take a moment to listen to what isn't being said. A voice that sounds like honey but lacks warmth, or an awkward more than words, can be learned from a laugh that seems to interrupt the flow of speech. These small details of speech are like unseen threads that hold everything together, pulling at your instincts and pushing you to see that things are not as they seem. As it may seem, the way someone talks can show what they're really like. It's as clear as day what their plans are for those who choose to see. You can tell a lot about a person by the trends you see in their behavior. True character is like the steady beat of a drum. It doesn't change, and you can count on it. Behavior that changes a lot depending on who is watching, on the other hand, is as weak as a leaf in the wind. That means the friendship show is just that. A show in the world of human relationships. It's important to keep an eye on these patterns. For King, stability means being able to see through the fake friendliness. Is not just about keeping yourself safe from bad relationships. It's about creating a space where real relationships can grow, is what it means to be a light of realness and a sea of lies leading other people to the shores of real links. So if you think something is wrong, trust your gut. Pay attention to the signs, and remember that not every hand reached out to help. If you want to keep your friendship, don't change your mind. The road ahead is all yours. Remember that your peace is a fortress, and give it the care it needs. Looking into Stoicism gives you the chance to not only deal with people, but also to live a fuller life. And there's more. There is a deeper world of Stoic knowledge waiting for you if you sign up for our free newsletter. This is the first thing you need to do to get it. Secure your spot now and improve your understand and find connections in this amazing theory. Don't miss it. Click on the link in the description and make sure your spot among other Stoics.